Have you ever walked into a language classroom and instantly felt, well, totally overwhelmed? Yeah, we've all been there. It's an incredibly thrilling experience, but it can also feel like you've just landed on another planet and somebody forgot to hand you the map. Well, today in this explainer, we are giving you that exact map. We're going to build a practical, immediate survival guide for a Spanish classroom. By the time we're done here, you aren't just going to be surviving. You're going to be actively participating, asking questions, and navigating your brand new environment with absolute confidence.
What's really cool is where our curriculum comes from today. We aren't just making this stuff up. We're pulling directly from authentic source material provided by Superation Idiomatica. They are a real, working, educational language institution based in Cuba. We are literally looking at the foundational materials they use every single day to get their students up to speed. It's highly practical, totally grounded, and specifically designed for rapid, effective comprehension.
So here's our game plan to get you up to speed. First, we'll cover the master key question. Second, basic greetings. Third, days of the week. Fourth, time concepts. And finally, classroom vocabulary. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The Master Key Question. Here's the secret when you're learning a new language. You honestly don't need to know every single word on day one. What you really need is a cheat code. You need a tool that lets you point at something or repeat a sound you just heard and immediately get the meaning. And that crucial phrase is, ¿qué significa? In English, that translates perfectly to, what does it mean or what is the meaning of? Seriously, I want you to burn this into your memory. ¿Qué significa is your absolute master key. If the teacher says a word you don't know, you just raise your hand and ask, ¿qué significa? Followed by that word. It gives you immediate agency. You aren't just passively listening anymore, you are actively extracting meaning from the room.
Section 2. Basic greetings.
Now that we've got our master key, let's actually put it to work. These are going to be the very first phrases you need when you walk through that classroom door. Let's practice. Ask yourself, ¿qué significa buenos días? It means good morning. It's exactly what you say when the sun is coming up. On the flip side, ¿qué significa buenas noches? That translates to good evening or good night. Notice the rhythm of the source material here? It's a direct call and response. It prompts you with ¿qué significa? To literally force your brain to actively link the Spanish phrase to its English meaning.
But hey, what if your class is right after lunch? To complete our daily cycle, you'd ask, ¿qué significa buenas tardes? This is the proper greeting to use during the afternoon. Good afternoon, boom. With just those three phrases, buenos días, buenas tardes, and buenas noches, you are entirely covered no matter what time the clock says when you enter the room.
Moving right along to Section 3. Days of the week.
So, once you can properly greet your teacher, you need to actually know when your classes are held. But before we list them all out, let's use our master key just one more time. ¿Qué significa día? It simply means day. Understanding this root word first really anchors the rest of the vocabulary we're about to jump into.
Okay, here are your 7 days. Let's run through them with a little rhythm. 1 is lunes. 2 is martes. 3 is miércoles. 4 is jueves. 5 is viernes. 6 is sábado. And 7 is domingo. You know, the original slide decks from Superación Idiomática actually repeat this exact list over and over, 7 times in a row. It sounds intense, but it brilliantly illustrates the power of repetitive drilling. In language acquisition, seeing and saying the sequence repeatedly is literally the secret sauce for locking it into your long-term memory. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo.
To make it even easier to retain, let's logically categorize them just like we do in our normal everyday lives. Step 1 is your traditional work week or school week. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, and viernes, Monday through Friday. Step 2 is the weekend, the days of rest, sábado and domingo, Saturday and Sunday. Grouping information into mental buckets like this makes recall so much faster.
Section 4. Time concepts.
It's one thing to know the word for Monday, but we also need temporal grammar to talk about last Monday versus next Monday. This is the flow of time, totally simplified. We have ayer in the past, meaning yesterday. We have hoy right here in the middle, meaning today. And we have mañana, pointing forward, meaning tomorrow. Ayer, hoy, mañana. Yesterday, today, tomorrow.
Let's actually apply these concepts practically. Here is exactly how you ask and answer questions about time. In the present, we ask, ¿qué día es hoy? What day is today? And we answer with hoy es. Notice that verb es. Now look at the past. ¿Qué día fue ayer? What day was yesterday? The answer, ayer fue. The verb changes to fue. And for the future, ¿qué día será mañana? What day will tomorrow be? The answer, mañana será. By learning these set phrases right now, you don't even need to understand the complex verb conjugations of ser yet. You just memorize the blocks, es, fue, and será. It is incredibly efficient.
And finally, Section 5, Classroom Vocabulary.
All right, we've mastered the master key, the greetings, the days and time. Now we are focusing entirely on the physical environment around you in the language school. First up, let's define the people in the space. Imagine raising your hand and asking your instructor, ¿Qué significa profesor? That means teacher. ¿Qué significa aula? That is the classroom itself, the room you're sitting in right now. And ¿qué significa compañero de aula? That translates to classmate, literally the companion of the classroom. These are the main actors and the stage of your entire learning journey.
Next, let's do a rapid-fire round of the tangible items on your desk and on the wall. Keep thinking of the master key for each one. Ready? ¿Qué significa libro? Book. ¿Qué significa libreta? Notebook. ¿Qué significa tarea? Homework. ¿Qué significa bolígrafo? Pen. ¿Qué significa lápiz? Pencil. ¿Qué significa goma? Eraser. And ¿qué significa pizarra? That's the blackboard or whiteboard at the front of the room. Keeping that energetic call and response active in your mind for each word is the absolute best trick for retaining this vocabulary quickly.
Finally, we absolutely have to talk about the ultimate survival phrases. Because let's be totally honest, in a language class, you are going to be put on the spot, and sometimes your mind will just go blank. You need to know how to bail out gracefully. Que significa no sé means I don't know. It's blunt, it's honest. But compare that with que significa no recuerdo, which means I don't remember. Using no recuerdo is a brilliant little trick because it implies to the teacher that you definitely studied it. The information is rattling around in your brain somewhere, you just can't access it right this second. It's a very polite, face-saving phrase to keep right in your back pocket.
So as we wrap up this foundational lesson, let me ask you one more time. ¿Qué significa no recuerdo? Honestly, I bet you do know. I bet you don't even need to use that phrase right now because we've structured this so clearly that these concepts are already sticking. You've got the master key, you know the days, you can navigate time, and you know your classroom.
And there you have it, your immediate survival guide for the Spanish classroom, coming straight from the excellent materials at Superación Idiomática. If you want to continue your learning and take your studies to the next level with them, you can reach out at info@idiomaticuscuba.com or check out www.idiomaticuscuba.com. But before you go, I want to leave you with one last thought. Today we gave you the map and the master key, ¿Qué significa? But you know, a key is really only useful if you actually put it into a lock. So, what entirely new world of understanding are you going to unlock next, simply by having the courage to point and ask what it means?